Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. My name is Samantha, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Just hit that red subscribe button. Also, if you want to know the next time I have a new video uploaded, all you need to do is sign up for notifications by clicking the notification bell. I would really appreciate it if you give the video a like, so give it a big thumbs up. Today I'm cooking something that is, it's one of my favorite dishes. It's something that's very versatile and can be eaten by vegans, vegetarians, omnivores. It's very versatile, and it is spicy potatoes. It's a very simple recipe, very quick, and the ingredients, these are ingredients that you'll find in supermarkets, so you don't have to go hunting for these things. You will find them in the supermarket, so you can enjoy this recipe anytime you want. So the first thing I did was to cut up some potatoes. I'd actually started boiling them a little bit there just to speed things up, but it's just a white potato that I got, nothing fancy, and I just chopped that up into pieces. So cut that up into pieces which measure about 1 inch by 1 inch, nothing too big, nothing too small. And the reason I want them to be that size is so that the spices can infuse into the potatoes reasonably well, rather than just sit on the surface. But you don't want them to be too small, because then they'll get mushed up or mashed up into, you'll have a spicy mashed potato, which is not the objective. So what I've done now is I'm just heating up some oil, and I've just chosen to use extra virgin olive oil. You don't have to use that. You can use any other oil, sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, any oil that you prefer. You can even use butter if you prefer, but because this recipe for me, I'm making for specifically for to be eaten by vegans, I'm adding olive oil, so there's no animal products in this at all. So just heating up the olive oil, and the next thing I'll do is just to add an onion, and I've cut up 2 potatoes which measure about the size of my fist. So I'm using 1 small onion, and I'm just using a white onion, and I've sliced it rather than chop it up, and I'm just going to add that to the pan, and I'll cook this until it is soft and is slightly caramelized. So I'm going to put the heat up now. What caramelization does is that it brings out the sweetness of the onion, so it doesn't taste bitter, and it actually makes it smell a lot better. And I find that if you're cooking anything, particularly anything spicy, the caramelization really helps to bring out the flavors. So I like to do that. So I cook the onion on its own first before I add anything else, because that helps to caramelize it better. And one little hack or a trick that I found is that if you add a little bit of salt to the pan, what that does is that it draws the moisture out of the onion, so it caramelizes quicker. So you can see already it's starting to cook, and that's because I've just added a dash of salt. I really love the smell of onions when they're cooking. I think it just make me feel like, oh, I'm gonna really enjoy this meal. So it's not so much fun slicing them or chopping them up, because you get watery eyes, or at least I do. But when you're cooking them, it's a whole different story, and I love the smell of cooking onions. So I'm just watching the time, so I'm going to check on the potatoes in about 6-7 minutes, because I want them to be slightly firm. Imagine if you're making potato salad, that's the kind of firmness that I'm looking for with those potatoes. Go, you can see that they're starting to go a little bit brown, they're soft already, and they smell absolutely wonderful. I'll just go through the ingredients as I add them so you know what they are, but I'll put a list in the description box below so you can read that as your recipe. But I think sometimes it's fun just to know what's going in next as we go along. It's so quick, it's just, you know, about 2 minutes or so. The onions start, you know, nicely caramelized. So probably just another minute to go. Just gonna leave them alone for a little bit so they can get some time on the heat. So while that's cooking, the next thing I'm gonna add is this minced garlic. I love garlic, and you'll find I'll probably add it to most of my dishes, not everything, but I prefer this minced garlic because it's easier. But you obviously you can crush it or chop up garlic yourself if you want to. I'll just get this one because it's convenient. So I'm going to add a decent amount, so it's about a teaspoon. I'm using a tablespoon there, so it looks like it's half, but it's actually about a teaspoon size amount of garlic. I'll put that in there. Oh, I love that crackling sound. It is so full of promise. So the garlic cooks quite quickly, and you know, and the last thing you want is for garlic to burn because then it gets really bitter. So the next thing I'm putting in is this, which is ginger paste. So this is just about half a teaspoon, not too much. And I'll just cook it around. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat down because I don't want anything to burn at this stage. And then what I'm going to do is add some chopped tomatoes, and I'm just using canned tomatoes. And because I'm using canned tomatoes, I don't add a heck of a lot because they can be quite bitter. If you're using fresh tomatoes, I think you've got more leeway. So I'm adding some, about a quarter can. So in that goes. Putting that back in the fridge. And I try as much as I can to mash these chopped tomatoes up because they come in chunks really. Okay, put the heat back up, not the heating, just the heat. There we go. You can see them starting to change color, and that means they're cooking. Cooking nicely. It's all starting to smell really lovely already. So now I'm going to add the spices, and I'm going to use my favorite. You've seen this before if you watched my previous videos. So it is the medium curry powder. And this is what it contains. It's got some, well, the wheat bran is really just to keep it separate and dry. Yeah, but it's the main spices are coriander, turmeric, chili, methi, which is fenugreek, and cumin. So because it's got these things in it, I don't need to add these because, you know, ordinarily I would. So the spices that I'm adding, which are not in there, are just these. So some black pepper and paprika. So now the tomatoes are cooking. I'm just gonna add about a teaspoon of this. So I'm adding a teaspoon of the medium curry. If you want it hot, you know, by all means, if you're a spice head, then you can make it hotter. But I'm just adding mild because I want more flavor than heat in terms of spiciness. So just gonna wrap it up, and always make sure that you make sure that the closure, the seal it airtight, because if this is exposed to the air, then it's going to lose their aroma and it will be less effective. So I've done that. I can put that away, and then just going to add about half a teaspoon of paprika. And then just a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. And then I'm just going to cook that, let it cook. Right, and then the next thing I'm going to add is the green pepper and red pepper. This is really just to add a bit of texture, a bit of crunch, so they're not going to overcook them. But you know, you don't have to add this, but I like this, and it just adds a bit more flavor. So you're just gonna mix that. So what I'll do now is I'll come back once this is cooked. Once the potatoes are cooked. So what I'll do is I'll come back once the potatoes are cooked, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so the potatoes are cooked. So the next and final step is to add the potatoes to the sauce. So I'm just going to make sure I don't add any water to this, because I'm not looking for a gravy. Right, there we go. And all I'm going to do now is just mix them, and maybe now you'll understand why I like to make sure that the potatoes still have some texture, because you're going to do a bit of mixing and you really don't want them all mashed up. So mix gently. You don't want to be aggressive with this at all. You know, give it some tender loving care. So as you can see, the colors are just gorgeous. So you just want to mix it all up. Make sure that the potatoes are completely covered in the sauce, so that the spices, the beautiful spices and the seasoning will go into the potatoes and not just coat them. So as you can see, I still like to have a bit of texture on the peppers, so I don't overcook them. They're still quite firm, with a bit of crunch. I'm just gonna just make it wonderful. Just had a bit of a taste there, a sneaky little taste, and oh my gosh, it just tastes amazing. So what you do now is just let that simmer for about, you know, a couple of minutes or so, and that's just to make sure that the spices do go into the potatoes. And then that will be it. Your beautiful spicy potatoes. And this, you can have this as your main starch if you want to, and have that with anything else, salad, etc. Or you can have it as an accompaniment, so along the lines of the patatas bravas, if you've ever had that before. But I like spicy food because I think it's just makes life taste. Makes life a little better, and it makes food taste a little bit better. So I quite often have this as just in my main starch, and then have something alongside it to accompany it. But Now and again, I will have it as just a small portion with the rest of my meal. So thank you for watching. I hope you try this. I'm going to put out a little bit onto the plate so you can see the colors better, because you're probably not seeing it in full glory while it's still in the pan. So I think with the white background you see vibrant, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to enjoy this. And I hope you do too. So if you do make this, let me know. Come back and let me know and comment in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Give the video a like and share it with anybody that you think might be interested in making this dish. And then I will see you next time. If you want to know the next time I have a video uploaded, it's so easy. Subscribe and then click the notification bell. Otherwise, that's it for today, my lovelies. You take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.